nation. I'm a soldier, won't surrender. Faith is like a fire that never burns to embers. The voice of the unheard. Love is the answer.
I gotta speak it, believe it, that's how I feel inside.
I can't sit here quiet.
You can take my heart, you can take my breath when you pry it from my cold dead chest.
This is how we rise up. Heavy as a hurricane, louder than a freight train. This is how we rise up. Heart is beating faster, feels like thunder. Magic static, call me a fanatic. It's our world, they can never have it. This is how we rise up. It's our resistance, you can't resist us. Can you hear me? Are you listening? Sleeping in the shadows could be making history. Through the fire, on the water, used to be a slave, but now you are a conqueror.
They can take my heart, they can take my breath when they pry it from my cold dead chest.
This is how we rise up. Heavy as a hurricane, louder than a freight train. This is how we rise up. Heart is beating faster, feels like thunder. Magic static, call me a fanatic. It's our world, they can never have it. This is how we rise up. It's our resistance, you can't resist us. Up, 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 up. We're rising up, 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 up. Rising up, 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 up. We're rising up, 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 up. Rising up, 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 up. We're rising up, 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 up. This is how we rise up. It's our resistance. You can't resist us. This is how we rise up. Heavy as a hurricane, louder than a freight train. This is how we rise up. Heart is beating faster, feels like thunder. Magic static, call me a fanatic. It's our world, they can never have it. This is how we rise up. It's our resistance, you can't resist us.
And welcome everyone to another episode of Straight Talk with Joe Vollano. I am here tonight on a special night because we have possibly some crazy stuff going on in the city. And again, you know me, I hate wasting taxpayers' money. So, I mean, it's vital that we have a show tonight because $30,000 to $50,000 of your money is on the line when it doesn't need to be. But unfortunately, some people's egos are getting in the way. So obviously, we had a show the other night. We talked about the caucus. We talked about the purpose of caucuses. We talked about the purpose of having a town committee and what is detailed in that. So I thought we were probably going to have to do this next week, but apparently not. I guess it's going to happen tomorrow. So let's talk about it. Let's break it down on what the process is. If there is to be a primary, and if this group does decide they want to waste $30,000 to $50,000 of your money, you might as well know what it's for and what it's all about. So, and actually what you get out of it, which is basically nothing. So let's talk about the process and what's happening. Then we'll get into some conversations. Like I said, I won't get into private conversations that I have with individuals, but I will get into the one that I had with the current chairman of the RTC, Lou Arata, because I did text him a couple days ago to meet up and try to kind of, squall things down. Apparently, he does not want to do that. He is full in ego mode, him and Manny Santos and Sean McDonald and that little crew there that, again, we've talked about on this show, that is a detriment to the Republican Party, is once again showing their true colors. And I'll get into the email. I know a couple people posted the email just before the show started. So it's on Meriden Talks. It's on the Meriden Taxpayer. I want you to read it. I want you to read it because I want you to read what I send him, which is basically, okay, caucus is over. let's all get together and work this out. Apparently, they're in no mood to do that. So very, very bitter. A lot of egos that are bruised, and they see. I guess they can't imagine that anybody would vote against. So not only that, we're going to get into the actual votes at the caucus and just state how badly they lost. I mean, it wasn't even close. Three quarters of their own slate did not vote for them. 3/4 of their own slate. So they had a slate of 40. Only 11 people voted for that slate. And the rest of them kind of split things up. 62 voted for our slate. I mean, I gotta say, I am a numbers guy, but I mean, that should tell you everything you need to know. But like I said, egos are getting in the way. And we're going to get into his email. I'll get into some of the responses. And the one thing he says that really stuck out at me is that he doesn't care whether he's in the RTC or not. But he wants to get voted. He wants it to be voted by the members. The whole city is the members. That's the point he doesn't understand. The caucus is of all Republicans in the city. And they think that children voted. There were no children that voted there. They're all 18 and older. They're all adults. And then they comment on about how, well, in fact, let's get into the letter. Because this is very important. Again, up to $50,000 is at stake here. Listen, there's 14 people for what we're hearing. We haven't got the official list out yet. It should come out tomorrow. But apparently 14 people are trying to petition. Now, I don't get why. Because there are 10 open spots on the associate member list of the RTC. The caucus only selects the 50 full members. There's still 10 associate members that are going to be chosen by the committee, by the new committee. So instead of spending $30,000 to $50,000, why don't these 14 individuals come to March's meeting and make their case to be an associate member? Why not? Why don't they just come to the March meeting and say, hey, I want to be a member. Will you let us in? And then the committee will decide. But let's go through this letter, because I think it was quite funny to me. So let me pull it up here. So there are many that went back and forth. I won't get into it. So this is posted on Meriden Talks and on Taxpayers, I believe. And I'll post it to my page later on. So my text message, and again, I talked about this on Sunday. I sent a bunch of text messages to all the leaders. I sent one to Robert Kaczynski from the chair of the Board of Ed. I talked to Dan Bernay, who, again, had a good conversation with. I met with some of the counselors, had good conversation with. So we've been reaching out to make sure, we kind of settle things down. A caucus is a caucus. It's over and done with. At the end of the day, the job of the chair and their prospective possible chair is to get together and kind of make a smooth transition over. Apparently, Lou doesn't want to do that, because here was my email that I sent, the text message I sent him. I said, good morning. I understand emotions are running high on both sides, but we as leaders, which we are the leaders of I was chair of the caucus, so therefore I'm gonna try to put things back together. Lou is the current chair of the RTC, but we as leaders need to put differences aside again, and I'm talking about personal differences, for the betterment of the party. I look to sitting down with you privately as current chair to discuss the path forward. I'm open to meet anywhere you wish for either breakfast, lunch, or dinner. Shit, it could have been anything. It didn't make a difference to me. And this is his response, because I thought mine was pretty civil. And I thought mine was doing the right thing of just making sure that we're all getting together. Melissa, welcome. If this is your first time joining us, I welcome you here. I won't put up any of the stuff yet because I don't want any phone calls yet or anything like that or any emails yet. I want to get through this stuff, and then we're going to open up the phones. And listen, maybe Lou Arada wants to call in. He could call in. He could come on the air, and we could talk about this. We could talk about this. Any of them could call in, and we could talk about this. But those 14 people better damn well know that if they start this petition and they try to primary and cost the taxpayers 50 grand, they're going to have to explain it. They're going to have to stand behind it and give a reason why, especially when there are 10 associate member spots open, that they could come to March's meeting and try to get on. But this was Lou's response. Instead of saying, you know what, Joe, not really interested right now, still tensions are high, this is what he writes. Now is not the time to powwow regarding the path forward for the betterment of the Meriden Republican Party, and I personally have zero interest in dining with you. So again, he's made this personal, and what did I always say is the first rule of politics? First rule of politics is never take anything personally. I don't take anything personally. And listen, he'll attack me this entire thing, and I don't really care. I don't take anything personally. I understand he's a weak-minded man who is being dragged through by Manny Santos. I get Manny Santos as the ringleader here. So he's doing what he's told. And in fact, I wouldn't be surprised if well, no, this is actually, it's written in Lou language. Let's see, where did I end up dining with you? You should have thought about and taken into consideration the negative effects of your actions. Now, I don't know what negative effects of our actions are. You have done way more harm to the Meriden Republican Party, the reputation of the organization, our elected officials, and you alienating yourself. I don't think I've alienated myself at all, and I really wouldn't care if people did think that I alienated myself. But to sit there and say that we've done more harm, or I've done more harm to the Meriden Republican Party, I think is a joke. I think I've been the voice of the Republican Party for the last friggin' 8 years. So I'm the only one that stands up and fights back against what's going on. Now, unfortunately, sometimes yes. Sometimes yes. It is against Republicans because they're not acting like Republicans. The reputation of the organization, our elected officials, listen, you've heard me go against Democrats, but yeah, you heard me go against elected officials that are Republicans because they are not representing. Remember, every time a Republican votes on the city council or in the Board of Ed, they are voting under the banner of the Republican Party. And when you sit there and vote that racism is a public health crisis and that our police department are abusing people, no, that's not Republican values. And you will be called out on it every time. You could be stuck on that. You could be stuck on that. But that's not me hurting our elected officials. That's them not doing their job. And you have alienated yourself, which again, I wouldn't care either way. But apparently a lot of people agree with me here, which is why these shows have 3,000 to 4,000 views a week. And how you deem supporting more than 10% of the nominating town committee who did not even vote in the last, now he had to say this, who did not vote in the last municipal election. Listen, there are some people that are just turned 18. They wouldn't have voted in the last municipal election. Over loyal party people who have served in leadership and working roles is unfathomable. I like to know who he's talking about. I would love to know who he's talking about. Himself as a leadership, he still doesn't know half of what's going on. And those who have served the party well have been brought back on. People who were on their list, people who were on their slate were brought on. We didn't know who was on their slate until that night. So he's talking about how we should have talked about this before. He could have, listen, they knew we were coming. In fact, Elaine, if you're out there, or Ed, if you're out there, send me the email that Manny Santos sent to the group about how we were coming to the caucus. They knew we were coming to the caucus. It wasn't a big surprise. They just didn't know who was on our list. So they knew we were coming. They just couldn't. They just can't match us because they don't have that kind of loyalty, people loyal to them. They don't have people that love what we're trying to do. Listen, people are looking for change. 108 people came out. 62 of them were looking for change. I don't care if they were 18 or 80. They were looking for change. They don't want the current RTC. They want new leadership. They want someone, they want leaders, they want a committee that's looking to move the party forward. And listen, I have my personal differences with a lot of people. Lou is one of them. Rob Kaczynski, who heads the Board of Ed, is another one. But my personal opinions on things and my personal beliefs on them no longer comes into effect here. Because it's not about me. It's not about Lou. It's not about Robbie. It's not about any of them. It's about the party and coming together. I would think that's what they would want to do. And listen, I give Robbie the credit. Robbie's willing to meet. Dan Brunet understands exactly what we did and why we did it. And he's fine with it. And we're going to meet next week. It's just this little group. It's this group of 5 that is trying to create havoc. And they've been doing it for the last 2 years while Elaine Cariotti was chair of the RTC. It's the same group. And now they're going to have their wives and a couple other people that have no idea what's going on trying to petition. And they're going to spend up to $50,000 of your money. When again, simple solution. Come to the March meeting, make your case, and see if the town committee will take you on as an associate member. Very simple. Very simple and low cost. But let's get back into what he had to say. Your perverse actions with Elaine Cariotti and your minions. So again, this is how they feel. This is how they feel about you. This is how they feel about you. You can't think for yourself. How dare you, you and your minions? You and your minions, how can you do this? These people, these minions can't think for themselves. This is what they actually think about you, ladies and gentlemen. Just like Mr. Carabetta with his meme the next day. Just like him with his meme the next day. The clowns are out. The clowns are everywhere. And then other members are sitting there responding to that. Lou Arata wrote this. So, listen, our side has never criticized anybody. We haven't criticized anybody. Their side has been vicious. That night they were swearing at us. That night, their members, their slate, we're swearing at everybody. That's not how you conduct yourself. And now you want to be part of the solution? No. No. So again, this is what they think of you. You're minions. You're nothing more than a puppet. You don't know anything. And we have been let's say, so your perverse action with the Elaine Cariotti and your minions has been a disgrace, humiliation, and embarrassment for many wonderful, hardworking, responsible, meriting Republicans, which I don't know any that were disrespected or humiliated because they came on with us. Duly elected representatives, listen, and we'll get into that in a second, thoughtlessly tossed to the curb. No, they weren't. No, they weren't. And we're allowing their opponents to lick their chops, hoping for more self-party implosion. That's not self-party implosion. That wasn't. That is the greatest thing ever that we didn't have to have elected officials. That means we have 40 members that want to do it. And as Dan Brunet always says, elected officials don't belong. Even the councilman, even the minority leader says it. They're not supposed to be there. They're only there. The only reason why elected officials were there was to fill seats. That's it. That's the only reason. Us swapping them out with regular Republicans had nothing to do with to disrespect them. And again, I've had conversations with a couple of counselors about this, and they understand it. So I don't understand where he's getting that from. I don't know where. Democrats never have elected officials on their town committees. And we talked about why on Sunday. So I don't see how they were thoughtlessly tossed to the curb. But see, this is the kind of narrative he's trying to put into his following, which is very, very small. Listen, they had 40 members. Only 14 of them are willing to petition. Just think about that. Listen, they had 40 people on their slate. Only 11 voted for him. What does that tell you? Only 11 of their own slate, 1/4 of their own slate voted for them. 3/4 of them, the 3/4 of them did not even vote for them. Unbelievable. But yet, he doesn't feel it was fair. Define fair. It's a caucus. Any Republican could come out and voice their opinion. But he wants only the membership to. So let's continue on. You are greatly disliked in the Meriden community, and this is yet further proof that all your attention you so desperately crave, a negative is truly deserved. First of all, I don't really care if I'm liked or not. Last time I checked, there are many that love me in this community. I do a lot for this community, both politically and civically, and as a business owner. So, I mean, you could believe that if you want. Maybe your little circle doesn't like me, but I would understand why. Because we keep smacking you guys around all the time, and you guys keep losing to us. I mean, you guys lost to Elaine 3 times already. And I know you guys love to give me the credit for it, but Elaine has been the one to smack you guys around for the last 3 times because you guys keep causing trouble. You keep causing trouble, and you're trying to do it again because you just can't accept the fact that people don't like what you stand for. People don't like the way you conduct yourself. People just don't like it. Now, there is 14 on that petition that we know of, not that we know of, that we've heard are going on. 5 of them, I could tell you, would never get back on the RTC under the new regime. 9 of them, there's 9 spots on the associate members that you could probably get on if we knew who you were. 5 of you are an absolute no-go. And I'll name them. Manny Santos, Lou Arada, Sean McDonald, Tom Gildersleeve, and Scott Burling. Those 5 will never come back. The other 9 of you, give me a call. Give me a call. You don't have to call me today. You don't call me on this show. 203-805-2520. Feel free to throw me a text or give me a call later on after the show or tomorrow. I'll be more than willing to talk to you about getting on. But you can't petition. Petition would automatically make it a no-go. Just because you're not a Republican if you're wasting taxpayers' money. If you're willing to throw away $50,000 of taxpayers' money, then our conversation will be very short. But if you're willing to put differences aside and work for the betterment of Meriden and the Republican Party, I'm here. And I told Lou this also. You'll see my response. Listen, I don't agree with you, but my phone it's always on. The line of communication is always there. Why would we communicate with you before the caucus? It doesn't make any sense. We're gonna tell you exactly what we're doing? No, of course not. It's called strategy. I know you guys don't have any, but I'm sorry. We're good thinkers. We think. We organize. We execute. And Elaine Carriai is the best organizer I know. When it comes to execution, I'm the best in the fucking business. I'm the best in the business. And I hate to say it, but people like Lou, Manny, Sean, you fucked around and found out. Plain and simple. And now you're letting your egos get the best of you. You're letting the personal side get the best of you. You're working off of emotion. And now you're going to do that at the expense of the taxpayer. You're going to do it at the expense of the taxpayer just to try to get on. And let's say this. Let's say best case scenario for this group. They all win. They're still a minority in the new party. They're still a minority. I'm still going to be chair. And your shenanigans will not be tolerated. They will not. The way you guys treated Elaine would not fly. Would not fly. So the real question is, would you even want to be on a town committee with me as chair? Unbelievable. So let's continue on with it. You and Elaine have, and again, I love how they again, poor Elaine here. You and Elaine have given our reigning 5th congressional candidate's opponent a magic wand and first hit piece ad. Stupidity is not even close to your recklessness, and there's no stuffing the genie back. And first of all, George Logan should have never been on your ballot to begin with. George Logan should never have been there because he should have just stayed neutral to everything. And partially that's blame on him for being on the ballot. That's not blame on us. Why? Because so automatically we're all supposed to join on your slate just due to the fact that George Logan is on yours? That's not how it works. And if you had reached out to us knowing we were coming, so I hope someone sent me that email. Someone sent me that email. If you don't have it, the one with the one that Manny Santos sent to the town committee stating that we were coming. I want to read that email because it's very important. Because they knew we were coming. It was no shock to them. They just didn't know we were coming in the numbers that we were coming in. They didn't realize how good of an organizer, even though they should have already, that Elaine Carriai is. So to try to blame, George Logan for not getting on is not looking at us. So let me continue on. So you can't stuff the genie back in the bottle. You made your bed, showed your true colors, and they're ugly. I don't know what's ugly about it. Us standing up for ourselves, for us, for following the process is ugly? Or is it that we kicked your ass is why it's ugly? I think that's the real issue. Is that you got beat and now you're crying like a little bitch. That's the problem. Let's be completely honest with each other. Let's be completely honest with each other. You're crying because you got spanked. It wasn't even close. Not even close. Your own slate didn't want you. But yet you write this email. You can't even get 40 bona fide people to serve on the Republican town committee, just warm placeholders. Let's go through, let's go through theirs. Shall we not? Because I talked to most of them. And let's go right from the list. Number 40. Lou, that's your girlfriend. Oh, she was never on the town committee. Just a warm body. I talked to the Sikorskis. Love the people. I hope they actually come on. But they were just placeholders for you. Joe was a placeholder because I talked to him. And you know what? Joe's coming on to our town committee. And I love that. Now, we already know Mr. Kaczynski Sr., he's not coming on your committee. He's a placeholder. Lenny Rich, placeholder. Josh Borkstra, listen, he's your BFF. He's Mike Carabella's BFF. So, of course, he's getting on. George Logan, Colin, he doesn't even want to be on. That's why he left. Manny Sandoval, no. Rajewski, there's again, there's so many. Let's see. Don, Rob, they're all ours. This is how Lou and Manny and them all conduct themselves. Yes, every single time. They are children. It's like dealing with children. I'd rather sit there and deal with my 8-year-old on one of his tantrums than deal with these people, unfortunately. But let's look at them. Eric Barber, he's on ours. Guy Beeman's on ours. Alan is coming on ours. And I love Alan. I think Alan's a great pickup for us. So there's so many of them that are already coming over to our side. But because of these 5 that know they're not coming over, they're willing to spend $50,000 a year money. So let's finish on with his little comments here. Even people who have worked on campaigns for you, Elaine, and others are not worthy to be included in your vision of a new RTC. Actually, they are. They're all on. But there's just no elected officials on our RTC because they have better things to do. They have more important things to do than to sit there and try to cultivate, find new ones, mold them, and raise money. So, I don't know why he's talking about that. They're not worthy to be included on the RTC. That's not true at all. The immeasurable damage and hurt you have caused our party and our loyal supporters is inexcusable. Tell me. Call me up. 203-805-2520. Tell me what we have done. Now, some of your nominated lists are fully realizing just what a perversion of a mission you brought to the caucus. Many not even knowing what they were there for. Really? Really? All of our people knew what they were there for. Change. They all knew what they were there for. Change. Did they know all 40 of our candidates? No. But you know what? They trust us. They trust us. They said that if this is your slate, this is who we want. If this is who's going to bring change, this is who we want. You can't say that for you guys. 11 out of your 40 voted for your slate in its entirety. 62 voted for ours. What are we talking about here? So, and I like to hear from anyone who thinks that they were coerced to being in here. Anyone looking for reasons why Republican Party of Maryland is such a negative view by surrounding communities needs to look no further than you and Elaine. Really? Please explain why. And this is my favorite part here. The cost of the Republican primary is on you and Elaine. How? We won. We did our job. We did our job at the caucus. We put a slate together. We found people to want to come join the RTC who are going to be hardworking and fill the mission that we have. We did our job. What were we supposed to do? Any responsibility to the taxpayer, as you so widely enjoy provocating, is shredded by your lack of communication, as all of this of disgruntlement could have been avoided via dialogue. Furthermore, it is the most powerful tool to find compromise, and now, after the fact, the damage you have caused, you seek it. So let's go through that. Again, you knew we were coming. You damn well knew we weren't voting for you. So what communication did you want before the caucus? What would you want? Because you still would have been shut out. Even if best case scenario for you, Lou. We come to you and say, Lou, we're putting together our own slate. We're taking these members out of your slate, and we're not accepting you 5. We'd be in the same place right now, because this has nothing to do with whether your slate was picked. It's the fact that you and your little crew were voted out. That's it. The council people aren't mad. I've talked to them. Maybe one is, but the other counselors aren't mad. They understand it. And they're perfectly fine with it. Perfectly fine with it. It's only you and your small little group that has an issue. But like I said, there is a free solution to this all. Free. Free. Come to the March meeting. And the March meeting is going to be held on... The March meeting is going to be held on March 13th, 7 o'clock at the Augusta Cultural Center. Your 14 people, instead of petitioning and wasting taxpayers' money, need to show up at the March meeting on the 13th at 7 o'clock and state your case to the membership, because we're going to get into your other emails. You said you're fine with not being on the RTC as long as the membership voted you out. Because, unfortunately, Lou, I hate to break it to you, the membership at a caucus are all Republicans in the city. And they did vote you out. So apparently that's not the case that you don't care. You do care. So here is my response to Mr. Arata. Thank you for the response. Best of luck on your petition, but you all alone will have to explain to Republicans why you're wasting their hard-earned tax dollars. That being said, I'm always available to meet and help put an end to this nonsense. And then I gave him a little PS. You haven't seen me be a bully yet. But I can guarantee you this, and I'll tell you all right now, I guarantee you if they all proceed with this, you will sure to hell see one. None of them have seen me be a bully yet. And I don't want that. They don't want that. Because anyone who is on that list, be prepared to be blasted this week. If you are on that list of 14, I am going to be calling each and every one of you out and making sure you explain to the taxpayers why you're wasting their money while you have other ways of settling this. But again, Lou Arata, my number is always free for you to call. Privately or publicly. My goal, as I have told everybody, as I have told every person I've talked to, that I have personal differences with Dan Bernay. But we work well together because he can come to the table and have an intelligent conversation. Robbie Kaczynski, we have our issues. More than willing to sit down with him and work things out. Not probably personally between us and how my feelings towards the Board of Ed are, but how the Board of Ed and we work together. Because if there is going to be a divide in either the council or the Board of Ed to the RTC, it is because of their doing. I will not allow our new RTC to create divisions between the council or the Board of Ed. I will not allow it. We are going to work together for the betterment of Meriden and to get people elected. Our personal issues, my personal issues with the Board of Ed, I will speak to them privately. And we will handle that internally. But change is going to happen, ladies and gentlemen. I said that before. Change is going to happen. You are going to see a new Republican Party emerge out of this nonsense. One that's going to be stronger than ever. One that is going to be doing amazing outreach. One that is going to be doing amazing cultivating of new blood in our party. We have young people joining on that are excited to do work. We have a lot of positive things going. We got the best fundraiser in the state with Elaine Cariotti. She is hands down the best fundraiser in the state. Even the state party recognizes that. So if we're so horrible for the RTC and for Republicans, why is Elaine recognized as the best in the business? Even while taking the arrows from U5 all for the last 2 years. For the first time ever, we had a full slate, a full 40-person membership, 10 associate members, and those waiting in the wings. That's why we do not have elected officials on our RTC. Because we need to make room for everybody that wants to participate in the process. We want to make sure we have everybody being part of the process. And I think every elected official would want that. The more people being involved in the system is better and should be welcomed. And elected officials, from what I have seen so far, are excited about it. Are excited. That's why I've already been confirmed that no one from elected office, I believe, is on your 14 list. So who is on your 14 list? So Mr. Arata, I'm going to ask you right now, or anyone in there in that campaign, post the 14 people that are going to be trying to petition on. I bet you I know 5. And then I'm sure your spouses are going to be on there. So what are we going to get? 7 couples that want to spend all this money? It's absolutely crazy to me. Republicans spoke loud and clear. Republicans spoke loud and clear. You have to put your egos aside now and move on. Lou, you need to reach out to me again, except in this nonsensical way. You need to reach out and say, you know what, Joe? Let's have a smooth transition here. Let's have a smooth transition. Now you're going to, and I know immediately what you're going to say. Well, Elaine Cariotti didn't give you a smooth transition. Hey, I'm in agreement with you on that one. Again, I am not for how they resigned. No secret. So I will concede that point to you. So if you want to just, again, take it personally and say, well, screw you, I'm not going to help you in any way, and I'm just going to throw everything at you at the last day, okay, well, then just say that. But if you want to be adults about this, then we should just sit down and make a smooth transition happen. I look forward to my meetings this week. I look forward to sitting down with Minority Leader Benet next Saturday. I look forward to sitting down with Rob Kaczynski and the Board of Ed. I'm sure they have a lot to say to me. And again, that's fine because I'm not meeting them for personal issues. I'm meeting them about how we move an RTC forward. We can have our disagreements. We could agree to disagree. But my role has changed. And I always say, the worst thing you could ever do as a leader is say, I. When you are a chair of an organization or anything, the word I should never come out of your mouth. And you will very rarely hear it come out of mine. It's not about me, it's about we. It's about we, the organization. I am one person out of 40. I have been overruled so many times in the RTC, I could hardly keep count. But I always respect the process. I always respect the results. And none of you can sit there and say I don't. Not a single person on the RTC can sit there and say, you know what? Joe never accepts the results that we do when we vote. And he's always starting, no, never. You'll never hear it. Because I love the process. I love the fact that everybody has a voice and we all don't have to agree. But this kind of nonsense helps nobody. So Lou and any of the other 13, my phone is always on. After I hang up on this show, feel free to call me. But I will tell you this, if your name is on that petition tomorrow, you can't take it off. So think long and hard before you sit there and commit to spending taxpayers' money on something you could accomplish for free if you just show up to the March meeting. If you show up to the March meeting, you don't need a petition. It's that simple. March 13th, 7 o'clock. That's the first committee meeting of the new RTC. We have 10 spots for associate members left. You are more than welcome to come and join us. The 5 of you that I mentioned will never get on. I assure you that. But you other 9, there may be a possibility for you because I don't know who you are. And if I don't know who you are as a Republican, you're probably either a rhino or you were just brought in because they knew you and they just coerced you, as Lou said we did to people. They just turned around and threw you on there because they needed at least 10. They need at least 10 members to primary. So the clock is ticking. It's 7:15. City Hall opens up, I believe, at 8 o'clock tomorrow. If 14 names are on that list, be prepared. Or you could call me after this show. You could text me after this show. You could email me after this show. There it is, 203-805-2520. StraightTalkJV@gmail.com, or you can even use my personal, joseph.vollano@gmail.com. Reach out. We're not the devil. We're not the devil. I'm not. No matter how much they like to think I am. Hell, they offered me chair 4 years ago. I've declined being committee chair 6 times. 6. It's going to take a real leader to bring change and to set some ground rules. And as I said, execution of a well-made plan, I am the master at. Not to toot my own horn. So, Lou, you guys can hate on me and Elaine all you want. But you're just showing to me by that email that you sent is that you have made it personal and you don't care about what happens with the RTC, the Republican brand, or anything else. It's about you and your ego and Manny Santos and his ego and the rest of the group. That's what this comes down to. You have the ability to shut this down. Lou, you have the ability to make this go away and us work together. You and you alone are standing in the way of progress of bringing the party together. And the more you do this, the worse it's going to get. As I said, let's put emotions aside. You were the last standout. You were the last standout. Everybody else has already come forward and gotten on board. You and your 5 are the last standouts that are willing to throw away $30,000 to $50,000 of taxpayers' money. And I know you're thinking about running for state rep. You think that's going to look good? You think that's going to look good for you? I hope you 14 think long and hard before you make any rash decisions tomorrow. My phone is always attached to my hip. I look forward to your emails, your text messages, or your phone calls. Because my commitment is to the RTC. My commitment is to Republicans. My commitment is to building a Republican Party that is worthy of the name. Where our values are promoted and adhered to. That's the only thing I care about. We can have our personal differences. That happens in every party. Like I said on Sunday, if everybody agreed, I wouldn't want to be there. Because nothing would get done. So if you know who those 14 are, I'd start reaching out to them. And I hope and pray I don't have to do a show later on this week. I'm hoping I don't. But I damn sure will. Because now you'd be going into our pockets when there is a free solution to this whole mess that you guys are unwilling to take. I have no personal grievances. I don't ever hold grudges. Ever. Ever, ever, ever. I don't hold grudges. It's not worth my time. It's not worth my energy to do so. We saw a problem. We created a plan to fix the problem. We executed that problem. So if they come to you with that petition, do not sign it. Do not sign that petition. You sign that petition, you're basically signing on with them that you're willing to spend $50,000 on nonsense. That's what you're signing. You're signing that you're okay spending 50 grand when you know there's a free solution to it. So again, I hope that my phone rings. I look forward to the phone calls. I look forward to the text messages. I look forward to talking to you, 14. I do. Lou, I even look forward to talking to you, buddy. You can call. Manny, call my number. Sean, call my number. Scott, call my number. Tom, call my number. Feel free. We'll have a discussion. And I'll tell you exactly where things stand. But you other 9, I want to hear from you. Here's my number, 203-805-2520. I look forward to it. So, guys, hopefully we're not having another show tomorrow night. I'm praying. I'm going to keep my fingers crossed that there is no show tomorrow night. Unfortunately, I can't guarantee that yet. But we'll know tomorrow by 4 o'clock. Let's hope and pray that these 14 see the light tomorrow. Let's see if these 14 see the light tomorrow. And they put this to bed. Until next time. Guys, I love you all. And I love this friggin' city. And I love Republicans. My job is to bring everybody together. That's my job. Do not sign that petition if it comes out. If you know any of those 14 people, reach out to them. So I hope I hear from you. I love you. God bless you. God bless this amazing city of ours. And of course, as always, God bless this amazing country of ours. Guys, until, hopefully not until 2 weeks from now, I'll see you guys. But worst comes to worst, we'll see you here again tomorrow night with a list of names. I hope not. God bless you and good night. I will talk to you all later.
Emanation and a million faces formed together, made for elevation. I'm a soldier, won't surrender faith. This like a fire that never burns to embers. The voice of the unheard. Love is the answer.
I gotta speak it, believe it, that's how I feel inside.
I can't sit here quiet.
You can take my heart, you can take my breath when you pry it from the cold dead chest.
This is how we rise up. Heavy as a hurricane, louder than a freight train. This is how we rise up. Heart is beating faster, feels like thunder. Magic static, call me a fanatic. It's our world, they can never have it. This is how we rise up. It's our resistance, you can't resist us. Can you hear me? Are you listening? Sleeping in the shadows could be making history. Through the fire, on the water, used to be a slave, but now you are a conqueror.